back to the lecture series on corrosion and its control. And in the previous videos, we have discussed about what is meant by corrosion and what is the process of corrosion, how it happens, and what is the mechanism of corrosion. And then we discussed about the factors, different factors influencing the corrosion. Then we also discussed the classification of corrosion, different types of corrosion, wet chemical corrosion, dry chemical corrosion, and we also discussed with some of the commonly available examples. Now let's move to the final part of the corrosion and its control. In this section, in this video, we will discuss about overview of corrosion control methods, how to control the corrosion. Basically, we can do this by two ways. One is by modifying the metal's property or metal's behavior, and the other one is by modifying the environment itself. And we will discuss about how we can use the protective coatings to protect the metal surface, such as paints and its constituents. And we will finally discuss about whether the paint you use can protect you from air pollution or not. Let's move into the topics. This is the overview of corrosion control methods. As I said in the first slide, corrosion can be controlled either by modifying the metal's property or by modifying the environment. So when we talk about the modification of metal's property, it starts with material selection and designing aspects. We will discuss them in detail, and also we can discuss about electrochemical protection or cathodic protection methods for protecting the metal, and also we can say we can use protective coatings to protect or control the corrosion of the metal. In the first section, modification of metal, the first point we should consider is material selection and design aspect. What is meant by material selection? We all know that metals, when we are in their native state, they are available as a metal oxide or metal sulfates. I mean, they are in a combined state, except for the noble metals. Most of the metals are in the combined state. So if we want to have a metallic object or metallic structure for a specific or special purpose, then we should think of what kind of metal will be suitable for that one. So that's what we say, material selection. And in the first step, you should select the metal based on your application, based on your requirement. You cannot use the same vessel, metallic vessel, for all the applications. You have to choose them differently and wisely. So the second one, using pure metal. We already discussed about this fact under the topic of factors influencing the corrosion. The purity of the metal definitely affects the corrosion process. Even the change of the purity by 0.01% will increase the corrosion rate by thousands of folds. So it is always better to use highly pure metal. And the third one we are interested in is that alloying of the metals. Pure metals, let's say we need some metallic structure having a high strength and a high melting point. I mean, the metallic structure which can withstand the high temperature or pressure applications. In those cases, you cannot go with pure metallic structures. You have to mix different metals and make some alloys so that you can get the desired properties, and you can control the corrosion, by the way. So alloying is one of the important topic when we talk about the corrosion control methods, right? And the fourth section, very important for the engineers especially, proper designing. Even though if you are not changing the metal itself, you can control the corrosion by designing it properly. You can avoid certain things so that, or you can correct or you can improvise certain things so that you can control the corrosion process even if you use the same metal. The first one under this topic of proper design, the first one you have to do is avoid galvanic corrosion. In the previous videos, we discussed about what is meant by galvanic corrosion and what are the different types of galvanic corrosion, especially when there are two dissimilar metals get into contact with each other. We understood that there is a corrosion due to the difference in the electrode potential. So we should avoid such situations, having two different metals in contact with each other, or having metals with small spaces where the moisture can accumulate and corrode the metal. So you can avoid such things by designing it properly. Okay. Then the second one, proper drainage. This one you can easily understand by a simple boiler setup. Let's say you are having a boiler. Just imagine like a boiler that we can see in any tea shop, tea stalls. Okay, in that boiler you can see that there will be a open at the top, and there will be a outlet. I mean a small tap like a structure. In this case, I can say that always there will be a certain quantity of water or whatever the liquid they use will stay at the bottom, because the tap is placed just above the bottom. So this place is always exposed towards the corrosion. Whatever the liquid or water or the milk, whatever they use, or even in the steam production industry also, whatever the liquid they use, they will always interact with the metal surface and they will increase the rate of corrosion. So in such cases, you can plan to have a outlet at the exact bottom itself, so that all the liquid can be drained easily. Okay, this is what we say as proper drainage design. Okay, so you can do like that. This is one of the simplest example I can say for the purpose of understanding. And the third one, avoid sharp corners and bends. What is meant by sharp corners and bends? In fact, we all know that when we join the metallic structures, we use welding of the structures. The welding actually increases the energy of the metal, so the welded parts are the ones that get corroded very easily. So you can avoid such things. And even for the same boiler, let's say if you are having a boiler which is exactly like a square type, where you can have a sharp corners, these sharp corners always tend to get attacked by the environment. This we discussed in the previous videos when we talk about the separation of anodic and cathodic region in wire fence corrosion, or in some of the other galvanic corrosion examples. Okay, so the sharp corners and bends can actually increase the rate of corrosion. You can avoid them by having a slightly bent structure, or even a better design, right? Then the fourth one is avoiding the crevices, the small spaces, the interaction points where the environment and your metal surface can interact. Okay, this also we discussed in the previous video in very detail. So whenever you have a small space in your design, there is a high possibility that at least the moisture will enter into the space and interact with the metal surface to separate the metal surface as some of the part as anode and some of the part as a cathode, and that will increase the rate of corrosion. Definitely that will increase the rate of corrosion. So you should always make a design which avoids crevices, no space. Okay, in fact when we talk about the spaces, I used to hear a story about the Apple iPhone. It was said that when Steve Jobs was leading the company, his team used to come out with phones with a larger size, that similar to the Android phones. Whenever he sees such phones, he just throw the phone into the water and show that there is a air space to indicate that there should not be any small spaces left out in the design. In fact, that's a story not relevant to the corrosion, but I am just trying to say that you can avoid such spaces. You can improve the design always so that you can control the corrosion, right? So let's move to the next topic. Again, when we talk about the modification of metal, we have a choice of electrochemical protection, or also known as cathodic protection. Within this section, we will discuss two aspects. The first one is the sacrificial anodic protection method. In fact, in this method,